Welcome back everyone to the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage. In what you are looking at right now is the little Singer 99 that I recently did a video showing a machine that I had gotten, and that it was in such gorgeous condition, especially the black lacquer, which is very difficult, or black finish I should say, very difficult to find without at least some scratches. This one is almost, I would say 99% mint. It's amazing. But the reason I wanted to make a video today is many of you have seen my videos on how to replace the felt in one of these machines. So the Singer 66s, the smaller or 3/4 version, the Singer 99, which you see here, and then the Singer 185J, which was basically a 99 with new styling. These machines have, and I've already taken this apart. Come here. So this, of course, is the bobbin case that was in the machine that doesn't want to stay in my hands today for some reason. And then, of course, this is the device that sits down inside. Turn it the right way. It sits like this. And of course, when you push this lever, it basically allows you to open up the bobbin, right? So it's part of the shuttle mechanism. Now, some of you may or may not have these. So a lot of times the felt has either worn or disappeared, or someone's plucked it out thinking that it was somehow, lint, that it got caught when in fact it's supposed to be there. These, of course, are the replacement felts that I created, and I still owe all of you a video on how to do that. So thank you for your patience. Now, sometimes when you have a machine, all you will see is a hole like this one. And the hole is threaded. Now, in the past, I've learned, the hard way, that inside there is a spring, okay? And that spring, I guess you'd call it a spring, is sort of shaped like a funnel. I'm gonna hold this up close, see if we can sort of zoom in, right? And so it looks like a little horn. And that spring actually, believe it or not, it actually screws into this threaded hole. Now, sometimes they are hard to get out, and if you're not careful, you can damage the spring, and that's unfortunate. So notice that, I can actually turn it to the right and thread it into this hole. Now, which is what I will do. But I wanted to show you all the original, the little stub that was left over. Let's see if I can put it on here, give you guys something to see it on. I got to get it up close to you. This is the little stub of the original felt. And I don't know if it's going to pick up on the camera today, but it actually has a pattern of the spring. You can see where it was kind of, the spring acts as like a tooth, and it actually allowed, let's see how my focus is going. There we go. You can sort of see the little ridges into the felt where it had originally been put into that little horn-shaped spring, for lack of a better word. There may be a technical term for it, I don't know. So that I was able to get out. Now, normally what happens is these little springs get damaged when people are trying to remove the little stubs. So what I did was I had some really small little fine sort of pointed objects that I used to try to push this little nub or stub out. But I had to kind of turn it because, of course, it had a nice grip on that spring, which it was designed to do. One of the things I did was I used sewing machine oil, and I put some on this stub when it was inside the spring. First, I had to unscrew the spring and get it out, and of course, it came out with the stub. That oil and patience, it took me, I started it one evening and I let it sit overnight, and then I went back to it. But this is a great example of this is one of the reasons that I tell people who get machines from me that what they're really paying for is the labor, okay? It took me several hours to coax that stub out of there and to do it without damaging the spring. And I know this because in the past I have bent the spring before trying to get the stub out. Now, when I do the video on creating one of these, again, if you haven't seen that video, it should be listed under the Singer 185J, the little pistachio green colored machine. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take my new felt and I'm going to be inserting it into this little horn-shaped spring, and I'm going to twist it until it is seated and it has a grip on these little spring ridges, if you will. Now, this is obviously too wide and thick to go into the spring, okay? And that's on purpose. You want to have it a little bit bigger, right? And then you can trim it down with scissors. So I'll be doing that to get it just right, and then I'll be putting it into the spring, and then the spring I'm going to, actually I could put the spring back in this, this piece here, and then I could simply twist the felt into the spring. So that's just basically how these parts work. I wanted to make the video just to show this to all of you so you could see how the parts work, why this spring is here. Now, if you can't get your spring to come out, you're also noticing this is very easy to drop. Don't force it. If you can get the old felt out and the spring is still in there, that's okay. Sometimes the spring is stuck in there, and if it is, trying to get the spring out, you can also damage it. So the goal here is to get the old stub out if there is any left. Some of you will have these machines and you won't have the little spring, okay? In that case, you do still have the threads in the hole, and I have made that work before with the new felt, but you have to be you want the felt a little thicker because it needs something to hold on to bite onto, if you will. And then, as some of you may recall, I can zoom in here, the way the felt works, it faces you, the sewer. Let's get a little height here so you can kind of change the angle here so it makes more sense to all of you. So, right here, when this piece is placed back into the shuttle area, the felt is going to face towards you with kind of like with the mouth open, if you will. And then it's going to, again, part of it is going to ride on the top of the shuttle race, which is what you see here, and part goes underneath it. Let me zoom in. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit better. See if it'll let me. There we go. And so that is what it's designed to do. And of course, this is an oiling felt. You'll put a drop of oil or you'll soak it with oil so that it holds the oil, and then as the machine is used, it keeps it lubricated. So this is a system that was used on the 66s going all the way back to the Red Eyes. It's a good system, but you have to take a number of things apart. And of course, I had to take the feed dogs out to get to it. Later Singer designs would eliminate that. And again, I want to emphasize to all of you, this is not part of normal maintenance. If you get a sewing machine, a vintage machine that has been restored, like this one, all you need to do is keep your feed dogs cleaned of lint and oil the machine. I kind of harp on that because if you're seeing one of my videos for the first time, you might think, good God, these vintage machines require so much maintenance to use. They don't, okay? This is being done very possibly for the first time in the history of the machine. And this is restoration service, not normal maintenance. So if any of you are new to vintage machines, don't let that throw you off. These machines actually require very little of you. But again, they've been sitting for a long time and they are due service in much the way a car is. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I just wanted to show you what this looks like. I think in the 185 either didn't have the little spring cage, or it's also possible that the original little funnel-shaped spring, or I don't know what you want to call it, would not come out. Don't try to force it. This one did come out. I was able to unscrew it, just like you would unscrew a screw. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching. I'll be getting this machine ready, and it will be posted on Kijiji when it's complete. Again, another good reason to do what I just showed all of you is that underneath these devices is, of course, lint. And that's really old lint. That's not even something you need to do to keep your feed dogs clean. In fact, if you will clean your feed dogs on a regular basis, you don't have to deal with these little, these big dust bunnies that I'm going to be pulling out of here. But again, these machines are very forgiving. They're not damaged. They're just waiting for the service and then a new owner to put them to work. Thank you, everyone.